So my journey really started in late 2010 with a doctor's appointment, one that I admit I almost canceled, but thought better of it. I went in, and during that appointment, my doctor found a baseball-sized cyst on my left ovary. And that sent me into this whirlwind of tests and scans. And by January of 2011, I was waking up to find out that it was a rare form of ovarian cancer. And my world stopped. Now, they had caught it early, and the prognosis was good, but I would need to go through this pretty aggressive chemotherapy regimen. And I think at that point, I kind of reverted back to that competitive mindset I knew so well through sport, some of those lessons that were coming back to me that you learn in sport, those life lessons of goal setting and teamwork, positive mindset, resiliency. And those were the things I started to tap into at that point, not only for the mental and the psychological portion, but also for the physical challenge of chemotherapy, which is the hardest thing I'd ever had to do. I think the hardest, I shouldn't say hardest because everything about cancer is a challenge, but I think leading up to the diagnosis for me was so challenging mentally and psychologically. My son had just turned a year old. I had just launched my company that summer before, devoted to women's health and wellness. And here I had no idea what my future would hold. If I had a future, I didn't know if my son was going to have a mother. So it's those very real conversations that you have with yourself. But at the same time, you're trying to stay positive and keep yourself propped up and just wait to hear the news and see what those next steps are. And so that's why I think, in a weird way, with the way my diagnosis was a little bit backward, I think I was almost relieved that they just knew what they were dealing with. And then to find out that they did catch it at an early stage was so wonderful. And so I think at that point, then I could kind of shift that mentality to fight mode. Okay, I'm gonna give it all I have. I'm gonna get through chemotherapy. But that in and of itself is such a really big challenge. And I'm not sure I really understood how difficult that was going to be. I'm currently 12 years cancer-free. I'm very excited about that, and very excited to hopefully be part of that team for others. I had so many survivors reach out to me to give me tips and tricks during that time, whether it was doing some yoga to help with some of the nausea and fatigue, whether it was getting outside and breathe some fresh air, as hard as it is to get out of bed, get outside, get some fresh air. To get those tips and tricks for others, I hope that I can be part of that team for those that are currently going through a diagnosis. When we feel better, we can fight cancer harder. So just know that you're not alone.